Ladies and gentlemen, it's another week of the jury. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on our social media. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram. Get involved. We value your input. So do not hesitate. Welcome to the jury. How are you doing, gentlemen of the jury? So gents, football is back. I'm sure you all are very excited. So we're into our review section, and what we're gonna start with is the UEFA Supercup review. And I'm sure you guys saw at home, Real Madrid brought back the cup, winning 2-1 over my team, Manchester United. A very good game, and I'm just gonna hand it over to my boy Snoop there in Joburg, just to give us a bit of an idea of how the game went. Obviously, Madrid scored first with Casemiro, and then Isco scored a very nice goal with the second, and Lukaku got a consolation goal at the end. So, Snoop the dog, tell us how you felt, my boy.
Yeah, Manish, the game, it was tough. Like I was very sad from it. We could have won the game, but I think Madrid played very well. We also missed a lot of opportunities. Lukaku's one, that was just shambolic. It was embarrassing. But he did come back and he scored. Pogba was nowhere. He just didn't seem like he was in the game. And I think as well, Kroos and Modric, they ran the show, guys. Like, that was an amazing game from them.
Yes.
Isco, my man of the match, he played well. He also bagged the goal for himself. But the biggest talking point has to be the Casemiro goal. I definitely think that was offside. And this also brings to question the situation with VAR. I think VAR, especially with that game, with that situation, it needs to be basically incorporated into the game. And there's also a situation where the linesman actually picked up his flag and then put it down, so he was unsure. So we need more surety into this game. We need to make sure that these decisions are made properly. And if a linesman's doing that, that shouldn't be happening in the game. So VAR just got another point on its side. So yeah, but overall, good game. It was a nice way to start the season for me, and I just hope that United's season can just go forward now and be amazing.
Sure, thank you for that, Snoop. Yeah, I agree with you on that point with the VAR, but I'm sure everyone on the jury agrees that Madrid were a bit of a better class than Manchester United, and Manchester United have a long way to go. But now, the English Premier League is back. So let's get into it. Each of you gentlemen have been assigned a team to speak about, that you each will have a minute to speak about. But just before that, I'm just going to get into some of my highlights for the weekend. Obviously, Huddersfield, new team in the Premier League, winning 3-0 against Crystal Palace. Fantastic result for them. I'm sure that Huddersfield is very happy with that, and I'm sure they're very excited for the new season. And also, I mean, as a United fan, Wayne Rooney going back home to Everton, scoring on his first game back at Goodison Park, the winner, and he made the difference. So always shout out to Wayne. He's always got a special part in my heart and all the hearts of United fans. But as I said, all of you guys have been assigned one of the top 6 teams. And we're going to go through, and each of you have a minute to present what happened to the game, how you feel, how you feel the game went. So we're going to start with the first fixture of the weekend, which was Arsenal versus Leicester, where we had Arsenal winning 4-3. And we have our biggest Arsenal supporter, I would think, actually on the show. He actually rides for Arsenal too much. He's like irrationally, he's an irrational Arsenal supporter. But we're going to give it to him. We love him. Jeezy, you have 1 minute to state your case about the Arsenal vs Leicester game. Your time starts now.
Okay, negatives. Mr. Wenger is Mr. Wenger, so some things won't change, like decision making. Defensively, starting Monreal as our centre back. Just like, what the hell, dude? What the hell? Why is Mustafi on the bench? But you know what? It's our way. We got away with the W. But anyway, other negatives. I mean, this Almeni Xhaka thing. I'm not too sure how it's going to work. I'd rather have Ramsey ahead of Almeni. That's just me, because I don't think Almeni works back enough. So it's a bit, I don't know. He doesn't work enough, essentially. Positives though, Giroud scoring another winner, being clutch. super sub. Always happy about that. Lakani Sanin. Lakani Sanin. Yes, man. We love it. Scoring on debut. Beautiful header. You know, the boys came. We played well. I think we played well attackingly. And I don't think that's ever been the problem with Arsenal. So it's now time to sort out the problems.
Your time is up, Jeezy. Nobody cares anymore. And now we move on to now we move over to Fizz, who is going to be presenting the Watford versus Liverpool game. Very exciting game. 3-3 draw there. Fizz, just like Jeezy, you have a minute to tell us about the game. Tell us how you felt about it. Your time starts now.
First of all, nothing surprising about the game. Liverpool do this. They've been doing this for seasons. I think Marco Silva came out with a good strategy. He didn't give Liverpool time to settle into the game. They took the lead, Liverpool equalized, they took the lead again, Liverpool equalized. So it was pretty back and forth, but I think the first half belonged to Watford. Their attack is great. Salah, Firmino, Mane, they look great up front. There's nothing wrong with that, but their back four is horrible. You know, they took the lead, they had the lead for quite some time. Then comes the end of the game, basically last kick of the game, and we have an equalizer from Britos. So it was an exciting game from a neutral's point of view, but in terms of Liverpool and their hopes for, you know, any sort of significant finish, this sums up their season for me. There's nothing great about it. Nothing great about their defense. Their attack says everything about them.
Thank you so much for that, Fizz. Thank you for keeping on time, my boy. Now we're going to move on to Khanya, who's going to do the Burnley versus Chelsea game for us. Of course, Burnley upset Chelsea 3-2. So Khanya, like everybody, you have a minute. Go for it.
What an upset it was, hey? I mean, the defending champions coming through, first game of the season. We expected more from them, surely. I don't know about you, but I think they were very naive. I think with Kale getting that red so early on in the game, very unnecessary. He lost the ball. That's what happens when you clown. I think that Chelsea are also very thin. Their squad is very, very thin.
True.
Suspensions, injuries. I don't know if they can do it. I really don't think they can do it. It's not this season. I think that it's going to be tough, and they might actually fall out of the top four. That's what I think. If they don't make any if they don't improve their squad, it's lit for them. I'm sorry. That's what I think. Thank you.
Nice one, Zooms. I don't even have to use the gavel today. Fantastic. And now we move on to Joburg. We're going to have Snoop, who is doing Man City's game versus Brighton. As we all know, City won 2-0. Visiting Brighton, one of the new teams in the league. Snoop, like everybody, you have a minute. Let's do it.
Yeah, there weren't really any surprises in that game. 2-0 Aguero and the own goal. I'm not gonna judge them from this game. I still think they need tougher opposition. I think with Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, I think they might work well. They might score a lot of goals, but obviously the bigger test is needed. Let's just see from the next coming games. I still think Pep is a fraud with all these signings. I really think he's a fraud, but yeah, let's see some tougher opposition.
Alright, fantastic, Snoop. You kept perfectly on time. We're going to bring it back now to Letu here in Cape Town, who's going to do the first of today's games, the Sunday games. We had Spurs versus Newcastle, and Spurs running out 2-0 winners there. Letu, you have a minute. Let's go.
Tottenham went to St. James's Park today, lined up in typical fashion. They were missing Kieran Trippier, they were missing Danny Rose as well, but those slots were filled in by Walker Peters and Ben Davis. Ben Davis scored off a Christian Eriksen assist. I think Tottenham looked comfortable the whole day. It was just a matter of when, not if, you know. And I think John Joe Shelby's red card was extremely silly, a stamp on a player who's already on the floor. Very unnecessary and earned his red. So he made his team's fight a lot tougher than it had to be, and eventually Tottenham broke them down. Eriksen pulled the strings well. Ali scored off one of his famous runs. So a very controlled performance from Tottenham. I think they did well to win away from home.
Fantastic, Letu. Yeah, very, very decent result there for Tottenham. Not easy going to St. James's Park. And then finally, Kaya, our boys, Manchester United, handling business at Old Trafford. Is it a new dawn?
Oh
Wow, man, oh man. Talk about the perfect day for United. You know, total control from start to finish. 4-0 dub on the opening day. You know, home game. You can't be happier. The new man, Lukaku, with the brace. And if you ask me, it's his mobility and his ability to, you know, spread defense that we were really missing last season with Zlatan. A sneaky goal and assist from Martial off the bench. So big shout out to him. Mickey with a couple of assists as well. I'm expecting very, very big things. If we're going to be successful, he needs to play at the highest level. And for me, and most importantly, the man of the match, and deservedly so, was Nemanja Matic. He was absolutely immense. Not just in his breaking up of play and his defensive duties, but also how he started attacks. And honestly and truly, if he keeps playing that way, you know, we're going to get the best out of a lot of players in our team. So yeah, very excited. As for the new dawn chats that you were saying, Vela, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. It's just the first game, but you know, things are very promising at the moment.
Fantastic, and you kept within a minute, so well done to you on that also. Very well handled, boys. I think that covers it for the Premier League this weekend. We're very excited the Premier League is back. 37 more rounds to go. Let's get hyped. We're entering the section called The Floor is Yours. And on today's section, we're going to be particularly focusing on transfer markets and FIFA Fair Play. Looking into the transfer market also particularly, we're going to ask the members of the jury about players being tapped up. We're going to talk about player valuations. Are they in terms of potential versus experience? And also, we're going to look at the English markets. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? We'll wait and see just now. Get hyped. Alright then, gentlemen, you guys have heard the topics for The Floor is Yours today. I'm going to hand it over to Joburg. You guys are going to speak about FIFA Financial Fair Play. What's it all about? Is it working? What's happening? So whoever puts the hand up first will be the first person who will be able to answer on it. 1, 2, 3.
The FIFA Financial Fair Play. So basically what they're basically looking at is how much you spend versus how much you are making and your debts as well. So with regards to some teams have a lot of debts, right? But they're still going to go buy players. So that's kind of unfair if you do have a lot of debts but you're still spending money, which is kind of wrong, which is why you see teams with bans and fines, for example, Atletico Madrid. It's a huge problem right now because there's not much effective measures that are put in place. So for example, if you do breach the financial fair play rules, you just get a slap on the wrist basically. So you get a little fine or you just get a transfer ban, which is not much because you've already done the damage. You've already bought the player, you've got what you've needed. So it's not that serious. It's something that's very, very bad right now, and I think everyone can agree with me is that teams like PSG, teams like Manchester City, they're just ravaging the market, which is very it's annoying for other teams who've worked so hard to get their money and they're keeping their books in check. So this thing of big money owners coming into the club and just throwing money in the team it's wrong because the team is not making that money. So that's what I think about it, and I think something serious needs to happen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Snoop, for that great explanation on FIFA Financial Fair Play. What I'm going to pose to Team Cape Town now is that we're going to talk about English clubs and the markets there when it comes to buying players. As we know, the English league has a lot more money than all the other leagues in the world. And so I'm going to pose the question to Cape Town, how they see this has affected English clubs in terms of their transfer business. I don't know who would like to answer that question.
I'll take that.
Letu can answer that question. Letu, the floor is yours.
Well, with the increasing popularity of the Premier League and it being regarded widely known as the best league in the world, that means a lot of fans are watching the Premier League. So then these teams are earning a lot more on average with their TV deals than teams from other leagues. So if you're an English team looking to dip into the European market and perhaps fetch a Bundesliga star or Serie A stars, the fact that those clubs know that you have more money means that they can stretch you more. And especially if a player is under contract, I feel like the bargaining power is with the seller now. So it's more about what they want for the player than what we think they're worth. So for English Premier League teams, it has made transfer market business tougher because often they're looking beyond their shores and they're being made to pay more simply because everyone knows that they have more money and they can actually pay more.
How crazy is it getting? What are the parameters to measure on? Do you measure on potential? Do you measure on proven experience and winning trophies? Gents, the floor is yours.
Alright, I'll give this a go first. You know, it's very, very tricky because, first of all, let me say these numbers are crazy. Let's get that out the way. The numbers are crazy. 50 million for Gylfi, 50 million for Kyle Walker is outrageous. But at the end of the day, this is the market we're in. You know, if you as a club, are going to take a gamble on someone's potential like Mbappe or Dembele, who's being touted by Barcelona at the moment, that's your prerogative. But when you're telling me that somebody like Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's in his late 20s, is going to go for 50 million, who's not even like a Champions League level player, for 50 million pounds, I think it's utterly ridiculous. No, just chat.
Yeah, so look, just touching on what this guy said, and I think maybe later might have brought this up, like, I just have a problem with the whole valuation of players because number one, it's inconsistent. But number two, in terms of like for the English market, for example, when a player has a European price and an English price, when a team from England buys a player, like, it doesn't bode well for the rest of the people who are trying to buy that player in the future, or any other team who may be trying to buy the guy in the future. So for my thing, it's like, if someone is bought now, so Pogba's worth 90 million now, according to United. In fact, according to the transfer market, and Neymar's worth 196 million pounds. Who's gonna buy them next? It doesn't bode well for the rest of the teams, the rest of the teams in all of the other leagues, and in fact, even for the smaller teams. Like, smaller teams can't buy players anymore. It's going to be a big league, a big team league, a big team European champion situation, a big team sport. So the whole player evaluation thing, I think it should be experience. I don't think it should be potential.
Don't you low-key think it's always been a big team sport? It's just that the numbers are getting bigger now. Do you know what I mean?
But the things that it's also because of these big spenders, these clubs with Arab owners and things like that. It goes back to the financial fair play thing. Like, they're just spending so much money that they make the market go up. Like, every player goes up essentially just because of Neymar going for over 200 million, for Pogba going for 90 million. Like, it's just that there's no consistency, and it needs to go back to where we have to get things regulated.
But
things have to get regulated.
How?
Make the fines higher.
I don't know. Cape Town's quiet. Can you guys tell me how it's gonna go back?
Letty touched on it a bit when he mentioned that it's a seller's market. So I think that's the first thing, is that me as a club, if I know that my main player, there's a club, like a bigger club, wants to get him, I'm going to make sure that I get as much as I can out of him. So I think value is it's not relative, I guess. Like, it's down. I don't think we can actually box it down and say, we need to do it like this, because you can't tell me as Swansea, for instance, my dead ball specialist, you want to buy him, he's still on contract for like 2-3 seasons. I'm going to get as much as I can out of it. That's unfortunately what it's like now.
For sure. I hear that, Jets. I hear what you guys are saying, but then just to get back to this particular valuation situation in terms of potential versus experience. I mean, there was the interesting question about that. Is Ousmane Dembele worth more than Alexis Sanchez? Let's say they both had as much left on their contracts. Is Sanchez worth the kind of prices that Dembele is being touted as? I'm hearing 90 million pounds for Dembele, 100 million euros for Dembele. But Sanchez has delivered. He's done the business. We've seen it. What do you guys think about that kind of situation? Sansa?
Yeah, I think with those kind of situations also goes back to the potential. Exactly. Like, it just goes back to what a player has done and the potential of the player. In the case of Dembele and Sanchez, Dembele, you can see he's got a lot of potential. He seems like a player who can do a lot for a big team, right? Sanchez has done a lot for big teams and he's still proving himself, which is why he could be rated at a high price. And also with Dembele, it's because he's very young. I think that's why they look at potential. The potential to do so much, and that the potential that the team is losing is very important as well.
So just to clarify, are you saying that there are they can be valued at around the same amount,
Yeah.
but for very different reasons.
For very different
I
reasons.
agree with that.
But
Straight.
also, guys,
I
do you
agree
guys
with
not think that, like, in terms of player valuations, do you not think that, like, it's also unfair how it's also low-key dependent on the team that they're playing for? So a player of the same caliber will cost more because they come from Barca or Bayern or whatever than they would cost playing for
Yeah,
some.
but that makes sense because they played at a higher level.
Yeah, no, but I'm not talking about yes, and I agree with you completely. But I'm saying two players who are both 19 years old, they both had one season.
Yeah.
The one may have played in a lower bottom table team. They might have played maybe the majority of the games.
Yeah.
But the one might have played half of the games in a big team season. But he'll be valued more because he comes from a big team, even though he hasn't got the same amount of game experience.
But he's breaking into a bigger team.
And that's the thing. He's breaking into a team.
For sure, gents. Yes, gents. I hear you there. Gentlemen. This is not a Team Jobo conversation. Let's got some thoughts here also. Give it a rest there. My question, gents, is that do you take the risk though? Mbappe, you know, they're talking high 100 whatever million pounds. How long have you guys known about Kylian Mbappe? How long has he been on the map? He's been on the map for around what, half a year? You know, it hasn't even been a full season. So when do you guys take the plunge? Are you guys brave enough to sign that deal off? Or do you guys, like what I'm hearing what Madrid might do? Do you guys wait it out and actually see what's gonna happen? Kaya, go for it.
I hear everything you're saying, and personally, as Kaya, if I'm the director of a team, I'm not taking that plunge. But at the same time, I understand what other teams do because, yes, we haven't known Kylian Mbappe for long, and yes, it might just be a bit of hype around him, but how do you know? That's why it's called a risk. How do you know you're not getting the next Cristiano Ronaldo, dude? It's a risk for that reason. If you're willing to spend 190 M's on this kid, and, you know, it's one of those things that if it works out, everyone's going to look at you and be like, yo, you're the man. And if it's, you know, if Mbappe doesn't turn out to be as great as he is, everyone's going to look back at you and be like, ah, dude, you're an idiot. But I'm just saying that I get why some people might do it.
I think in terms of why clubs may take that risk and why it has made the sellers, or why it has made it a seller's market, is because number one, you are buying potential, right?
Yes.
And in terms of the experienced players, it's very hard to get a very experienced player in this day and age because everyone wants to keep the experienced players. Everyone wants to keep their proven goal scorers.
Except
you know, games except Chelsea apparently. But like, I do understand why some clubs are more willing to sell their potential and keep their experience, and I do understand why that has made potential quite valuable in this day and age.
Then maybe just in closing this section here, is it sustainable, this kind of spending that we're seeing? Are we expecting to see the world record be broken again and again and again? How do you guys see this going in the future? Are these the prices that we have now? Zooms?
I think we're gonna come to a point where we reach a slowdown. I think after this Neymar transfer, maybe an Mbappe or Usman, or maybe even Coutinho within this transfer season is gonna go for big money. But I think that a lot of clubs now, there are far less players being available, good players being available now. So teams are gonna now start looking into their youth systems. Because also, economically speaking, like the world is also in a bit of a recession of sorts. So I think that it's going to slow down. I mean, it's going to go up again at some point, but I think in the short term, the next 5 years, I think that we're going to see a major slowdown in the big buys, and lots of the bigger clubs now looking internally
For sure.
for more players.
For sure. And Sansa, what's your thought on that?
Teams like PSG are around, it will not stop because PSG even said after the Neymar signing, they said they could afford Bale, they could afford Ronaldo, they could afford Messi. They still have the money. Not Bale. They said Messi and Ronaldo. They can still afford them. So they still have that money. Imagine other teams who are still basically getting their money, like Manchester City. They've spent a lot of money. They're gonna continue doing this until they're dominant. Their main goal is to win. So they will do whatever it takes. If they have the resources for it, they will do it. And that's gonna kill the talent. That's gonna kill the youth. And they're just gonna keep on buying these big name players. And I think it will get to an end where it will like die down a bit, but not anytime soon. Because if teams like PSG still have their money and that oil money keeps coming in, it's late, guys. It's really late.
Expect the Neymar transfer
fee to be beaten?
I think so. I think they can.
220 million
They really can. They really can.
222 million euros.
If they want to, they can.
No.
If they want to, they can. If Mbappe is back this season and he stays in Monaco, I'm telling you, PSG could throw 250 or something.
222.
I'm telling you.
I think that's outlandish.
And remember with Neymar's one, that's a release clause also. That's not even a negotiated price. You know?
It's meant to be.
That's the thing. Like that's a childish like Sansa. It beat Pogba's one by more than 100 million pounds, my boy.
And did you ever think it would happen? Nothing. It happened. So what makes you think that it won't happen again? If PSG are still saying that they can do things like signing Messi, like signing Ronaldo, they're not afraid, bruh. They're not afraid.
Great topic, and this is why this is our favorite section of the show. So that closes. The floor is yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's present the facts. In Team Jersey, we have Fizz representing, and in Cape Town, we have Khanya. And the topic for today, ladies and gentlemen, so exciting. We've got, what would you do with the Neymar transfer money if you were the technical director at Barcelona? How would you spend that money? And now we're going to decide who spends it the best. So just, you know how Present the Fact works. You have 2 minutes to state your case. Then we're going to have a little bit of rebuttal after that. And then we see who wins. So starting off with you, Fizz. You get us off started. Fizz, present your facts.
Okay, so I've identified 2 problem areas. The main one is the defensive, and then the forward is just to replace Neymar. So I'm going to start off with my defenders and who I would go to or look to buy. I'd look at Marquinhos. It might be a bit of a tough deal to make because obviously he's playing for PSG. So my backup would be Virgil van Dijk. He's shown some experience. His market value is at 30 million. But I would offer anything between 30 to 50 million to try and lure him to the club. If I can't get any of those, I'd look at Konstantinos Manolas or Kalidou Koulibaly. They're also around the 26-year-old mark, so they're not that old. They're still going to give us a good few years. Then I'm going to identify right back because currently we have Sergio Roberto, who's quite a good midfielder, but he's playing at right back right now. So I want someone who's defensively solid and plays the position. So I'm looking at Cedric Suarez. He's had a good Euro. He's had a good Confederation Cup. His market value is sitting at 15 million, but I'll probably give anything between 15 and 20 for that. And then if I can't get him, I'm going for Serge Aurier because he's been looking to leave the club and he's had some issues at PSG, so maybe he's a bit unsettled. His market value is sitting at 15 as well, but I'd give him maybe 20 to 30 million. If none of these have gone well for me, then I'm going to look to a forward. And my forwards are Ousmane Dembele. He's young, he's 19. He's shown a lot of good ability. So I'm going anything between 50 to 60 million. He's valued at 33 million. Paulo Dybala is a risky one because first of all he plays for Juventus Champions League team. I don't think would get him, but he's an exciting one. But I'm looking at Bamidele Ali and Thomas Lemar as my last resorts. Very young, very good experienced players. They've been playing Champions League and they've been playing in their respective leagues, so they've been doing well. Thomas Lemar 40 to 50 million. Bamidele Ali 60 to 80 million. Thomas Lemar's valued at 24. Bamidele's valued at 45 million. If I can get these players, I think I have a good structure for the future. I'm looking at young players so that I can have longevity as opposed to getting someone who's very much experienced and ready to go. Thank you very much.
Fizz, gave you even a bit of extra time there. It wasn't right. But away, we hear you, Team Joburg there, represented by Fizz Lekoobs. Khanya, you know the rules. You got 2 minutes, my boy. Make it happen. 1, 2, 3.
All right. So my first problem area is the right back position. I don't think that Barcelona have really come to answer that question. I think for me, Cesar Azpilicueta needs to come in. I think it's long overdue. He's a Spanish boy. He's playing good football and he can cover at centre back. He's stronger defensively. He's valued at 30 million euros. So I think for Barca, they'll be looking in the range of about 50 million to bring him to the camp now. I don't think the next one is in the center midfield. I think that Andres Iniesta's time is running out. My man is getting old. Thiago Alcantara needs to come back home. La Masia product graduate needs to come back home this season. I see him going for about 65 million. He's valued at 40 million. He's defensively sound. He knows how to run a midfield. Busquets now won't have as much work to do defensively as he has someone like Alcantara to help him. And then up front, for me, Ousmane Dembele needs to come through. The boy is raw. 10 goals, 21 assists in 49 games. Rookie of the year in the Bundesliga last year. He's a capped international. He needs to come through. He's valued at 33 million euros, but I think, to be honest, he's going to go for over 100 million. I'm saying 120 million euros. That's the last bid that's rumored to be made by Barca. I think with his Champions League experience, playing next to the Lord himself, I think that he will become one of the greatest. So yeah, that's how I see it. Three players, easy buys. They are tried and tested players, bar Ousmane Dembele, but I think that giving 2 seasons and the boy is ready to do what he needs to do. And I'm spending 220 million euros, so I got 2 million change. Thank you.
Nice one, lads. Very good. Very respectful of the time. Now, gents, we get into the part of the show of Present the Facts, rather, which gets a little bit spicy. Let's keep it above board. Keep it clean. So, gents, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time for some rebuttal. So, gents, present your facts.
Can I go first? Zungs, I've heard most of what you said. I think I agree with most of what you said. Cesar is a good option. He's Spanish. He might come back. In terms of your midfielders and you buying Thiago, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Number one, he's playing for a world-class team. He's guaranteed a starting position there. So I don't know how you're going to, coax him into coming back into a club that has 11 midfielders. Literally 11 midfielders. They have a starting 11
He's
of
coming back
midfielders in
home.
the team.
He's coming back home.
Sergio Roberto. He's touted to be the next midfielder in Barcelona's team.
At right back. He's touted to be the next midfielder at right back.
If you could let me finish, that would be great. If I could get my point across and you have your chat, that would be great.
But like your point's not making sense.
So in terms of Thiago, I see why you may be hyped, but I just don't know how you're gonna keep buying midfielders, because Barcelona's biggest issue is not their midfield. They have a lot of talented young midfielders who still have a great future ahead of them. In terms of Ousmane, I also thought about that, and I did mention the fact that we should try to get him. But I'm just looking at the recent developments, how he's been suspended, bids have been rejected. I just don't know if he will be worth the amount that you're offering, because you will have to offer more than 120 million, because obviously Dortmund are holding out on him, and the way he's handled this whole transfer process has been poor. So once again, I'm going to stick with my guns and say, give me maybe a Bamidele. He's playing for Tottenham. I think his future is brighter than that. Give me a Thomas Lemar. A Paulo Dybala would be great, but I also don't see how that would work. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Bamidele and Thomas Lemar. Tell me what you think, boy.
You playing FIFA right now. That's what you're doing. You're just thinking of all these little boys that have potential. Why are we talking about potential? Why are we talking about potential? Dele Ali, for me, defensively he's not sound. He's not a defensive type of player. And Barca's issues are at the back. As soon as Sergio Busquets isn't playing, we have a situation where we have an Iniesta who's towards the end of his career, and we have a Rakitic who doesn't step up. So it's I think that Thiago needs to come back, because the reason why he left in the first place was for him to become a better player. He's now become a better player. He's got Barca in his blood. He's a La Masia product. He was supposed to be the next Xavi. It's time. The world deserves it. The world deserves it. You spoke about Serge Aurier. I'm not sure, hey? I'm not sure. I mean, you were chatting about how we can bring Thiago back to Barca. How do you bring Serge to Spain? Spain, they don't like black players. My man is always getting into trouble. His work, he's been arrested. Why would Barca worry about a player like that? Marquinhos, another player who's just good on paper. That's all he is, paper. That is the truth. How many League One games do you watch a season? How can you tell me that he needs to start? He needs to start when he was benching to David Luiz. David Luiz was starting over him. So I don't know. You came with some cute buys. I don't think you're brave enough.
Wait, anyway,
So maybe
Zeus.
next time.
So you're talking about Bamidele and you're talking about defensive responsibility, but he's a forward. Did Neymar have defensive responsibility? I don't know. So we'll leave that. We'll leave that. I'll
No,
throw
but
that
I just
aside.
told
Maybe
you the
you might have been
problem
a bit
area is
confused.
in the middle. I said the
Then
problem area was in the middle.
Let me speak. I actually haven't been
Okay, lads. The rebuttal time is over. I mean, you guys could go on forever at this rate. You both got a chance to speak to rebut there nicely. I tried to give you both a fair amount of time. I mean, we can be here all day. What I'm going to do now is that we're going to take a little break. We're going to invite the rest of the members of the jury to come and speak on this Present the Facts, and we're going to decide who the winner is. Stay tuned. Gents, I'm sure you guys will all agree that was a fantastic Present the Facts section there. Very, very well debated, gentlemen. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, I'm only bummed because I haven't had to use these yet, but who knows? Who knows, Fizz? Who knows? But aware. Other members of the jury, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time. That was hard to come out, but just give you a little bit of time to decide who won and why they won. So I'm going to start with you, Sansa. Just briefly, tell us who won the Present the Facts and tell us why.
This was very hard, but I think I have to go with the man in Cape Town, Khanya. I think the Thiago chat, the Spilicueta chat, it made sense to me. I'm sorry, bro, but it really made sense to me, especially with the fact that he highlighted the point that Thiago is a Barca player. He knows the system, and he would fit in very well. So yeah, that sold me. And yeah, congrats to both of you guys. That was a good argument.
Sure, and then I'm going to pass it on to Letu here in Cape Town. Who won for you?
I'm going to go with Khanya over here because he actually constructed his budget very well and his signings make a lot of sense. And he's signing established professionals and he's mixing in youth well. He's done well for me, so he wins.
Sure, thank you. Kaya, who you got?
Mine is a bit tough. I think they both made valid chats and both made flawed chats. But if I'm honest, I'm going to go with Fizz this side, and I'm honestly going to do it purely because Fizz gave me backup options. I'd like Zung's options, like Aspili was a great option, but Zungs didn't tell me anything. What if you can't get Aspili? What if Chelsea don't want to sell them? So Fizz gave me some backups, which I like, he came very prepared, so I'm going to give Fizz this one.
Okay, I actually would like to go now, Jeezy. I'm going to let you go last, but I actually just like to go because I want to talk about what Kaya is saying, because I feel like the backup auctions was going a little bit over the top. I mean, that's not what we told the guys to prepare for. We told them, you got this money, how you going to spend this money? Are you finna present the facts right now? We can do it, boy.
No, wait, did we not agree that the judge does not vote for the floor is yours?
Okay, yeah, no.
You only vote if it's a split. If it's a split, then you vote.
I didn't vote. I was just saying what you're saying. I was just saying how you felt. Okay, I got it. I've got it. Jeezy, damn it. Jeezy. Who do you have?
It was a good debate, folks. Congratulations to the both of you. But I'm gonna have to go with Khanya. For me, he sold me on Aspilicueta because Aspi fills in two roles defensively, more than just so he deals with two problems essentially. But it's like for me, that's defensively bosses. He unchains the defense, makes it a lot easier for Busquets, and I think for Khanya.
So there you have it. Khanya is the winner of our first inaugural Present the Facts on the jury. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys think. Do you guys think Khanya won? Do you guys think Fizz got cheated? Let us know in the comments, guys. Always engage. That was Present the Facts. Well done, gentlemen. So, if you guys saw last week, we had a little games 1 week predictor. We have a predictor for every week that's done amongst the members of the jury. And Kaya won game week 1 prediction, getting 7 out of 10 games correct. And now just entering into the preview for the week of football coming up. We have La Liga and Bundesliga kicking off. We're expecting to see Neymar make his debut this week. So it's very exciting times in the world of football. And then in the Premier League specifically, we have 2 huge games coming up on Sunday at Wembley. We have Spurs taking on Chelsea. Will Chelsea be able to put together a team for that game? We'll wait and see. And then excitingly, our first piece of Monday Night Football, we have Manchester City hosting Everton at the Etihad. Promises to be a very, very exciting game as Wayne Rooney comes and plays his first game in Manchester. Hopefully, he does Man United a favour. And that's your preview for Games Week 2. Alright, gentlemen, it's that time of the show when we wrap up. It was a fantastic show. Did you guys have a good time today? It was a good show. So we're going to end it the only way we know how. Gentlemen of the jury, bow your heads. Lord Messi, we come before you today and we thank you for another wonderful episode of the jury. We pray as we go into a new week and a new season of football that you are with us, that you carry our dreams, and that we all have a lovely season. And Lord Messi, we thank you especially for our fans who are watching this. We thank you for everything that they do for the show and how their comments and their input keeps the show afloat. And in closing, I would just like to say, for the fans, in the name of banter, and for the love of sports, amen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the jury!